All right, everybody, let's jump into that first story. We got this one from the New York Post. Anheuser-Busch loses more than $5 billion in value amid Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light controversy. This story is from just today. So, simply put, it's getting worse. They say since March 31st, shares of Bud Light's parent company have fallen by nearly 4%. Knocking down the company's market capitalization from $132.38 billion to $127.13 billion on Wednesday. Anheuser-Busch stock fizzled more than 1.5% on Wednesday. So let's talk about this. Because just before the show, Ian brought up that Joe Rogan on his show said it wasn't a big deal or something to that effect. Could you elaborate on that, Ian?
Yeah, and I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but it was a clip that was on YouTube from, and I should pull this up immediately.
Was it recent or was it?
Yeah, it's very recent. He had a comedian on by the name of, oh, come on.
But it usually takes a couple of days for him to release the podcast, though, so that's also something that we should consider here.
But exactly, it was one with Sam Talent. Sam Talent is the guy's name, and really Sam was talking about.
When did it go up?
It went up. Let's see, 6 hours ago on YouTube.
So I imagine that was probably recorded yesterday or Monday.
Something like that, maybe, yeah, probably.
And I'll say, I think they're wrong about this.
They crack a couple Bud Lights. They're like, yeah, I think the drama's over. But you were saying that you think maybe he's insulated being on Spotify. You guys were...
They were drinking the beer?
Yeah, they pulled out a couple Bud Lights and were drinking in solidarity. It kind of like tongue in cheek, but the Sam Talent is like, yo, I love Bud Light's great. It's my favorite beer. You know.
How could Bud Light be someone's favorite beer?
I think he said it was his favorite beer.
But I just mean
you can drink 20 of them. You can drink like 6 of them because they're not really hard, they're not really thick.
It's the fluoride and the calcifying of the pineal gland that gets people addicted towards destroying their frequencies, right, Ian?
It's the kind of beer, yes.
Thank you.
But it's the kind of beer you drink if you just want to get drunk and you don't really care about the flavor.
As the joke goes, it's the kind of beer you drink when you don't want to drink beer, but you want to drink a lot of it. I thought that, I didn't write that. I saw that on Reddit or something. I thought it was brilliant. But I heard that Joe Rogan cracked open a beer and they're like, it's no big deal. And it's like, you know what I wonder about this? I wonder if, when Joe was on YouTube, he could more see the direct impact of his comments and what people thought about them. And when you're on Spotify and you're releasing, after the fact, I think the last time I went on his show, it was like 5 days later they released it. And I think it was I went on before the Rittenhouse verdict. And then he aired it after the Rittenhouse verdict. So that really changed a lot of the context. But I think what happens then is if you're not really paying attention, you don't see what people are talking about. You're like, I don't know, I saw some people talking about this Kid Rock did a thing, but I guess no one cares anymore. And now it's several days later, you put up an episode, and once again, Anheuser-Busch stock is going down. People still care about this, and the conversation is persisting. Here's what I think is happening. A domino effect is occurring where there was a major backlash to the sponsorship of Dylan Mulvaney. This started a metaphorical fire for Anheuser-Busch. A bunch of people then jumped on it and started talking about it, which created an opportunity for more commentators to say, okay, let's talk about it. I'll put it this way. I'll be completely blunt. I didn't really care all that much. And then I saw the video I did, and I got 1.5 million views. And that said 2 things to me. One, people really care about this. And I think it's as simple as you've screwed with their beer and now they are pissed off. The other thing I realized is you are going to start to see commentators capitalize on that. And they're going to make as much content about it as possible because people care, which is, for me, let's be honest, a business opportunity, but that's ancillary. More importantly, it's a culture war opportunity. If this is the hill people are willing to die on, let's roll, baby. And now we have news coming out, leaks, photos about the VP and about her frat parties. Information is being brought up about Bud Light sales. It's fair to say this is more than just Bud Light, this thing that happened last week and no one cares anymore. Because Bud Light has ignored their base, their market, and they've basically doubled down on this. They've pissed people off. And they've created a viral opportunity for online commentators, be it for or against it. The fact that Joe Rogan talked about it, whatever it is he said, all that did was throw more fuel into the fire. And it's going to get more people asking what is going on with this and why.
They actually talked about that on the episode. They were like, look at us. We're drinking Bud Light right now, so it's working. Like any news is good news. But it's not. You can actually trash people with a lot of news about them, too.
Well, the issue is for Bud Light, if they're already at the top selling beer in the world, they can only go down. So yes, bad press is bad for them. And before the scandal broke out, their stock was spiking up like 10%, and now it's flipped and started going down, where comparable beverage brands are not seeing that same thing.
I have a couple different things to say about it, and I'm of two different minds about it. One, Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch will be fine, and they're going to be fine for a very specific reason. Well, two specific reasons. One, because the right can never maintain a culture war fight at all. I know they had a bad weekend, but I watched the NFL have bad ratings for precisely about 15 minutes when Black Lives Matter was taking a steaming dump all over the flag, and every person on the right, they couldn't wait to run to social media and I'm done forever and I'm done, and NFL's racist and I hate this place and I hate America. And like I said, about 15 minutes later, they were all bragging, oh, did you see that throw from Drew Brees? It was wonderful. The right can never maintain these things because they don't love freedom as much as the communist hates freedom. That's one.
Agreed.
Two, Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch is going to be fine because the truth is, as many organizations has found out, from financial institutions to sports like the NBA to others, you do not need to appeal to a customer base anymore. That is an old way of thinking. You need to appeal to the regime. And right now, we have a new religion in America. We are the U.S. of gay now. That is the regime. I don't care what you think of it, whatever, LGBTQ, whatever. Everything revolves around that now. We have the Secretary of State saying he's writing Saudi Arabia every single day about gay rights. We are in a time of insanity in the United States of America, from the Pentagon to the Secretary of State to entertainment. That's all they care about. So if Anheuser-Busch has proven they're going to be loyal to the new religion of the U.S. of gay, they will eventually be okay. I
disagree. The point is, they've lost $5 billion. Their stock is going down. And so long as people have two things, the willpower, which I admit is lacking among people who are anti-establishment to a great degree, but there's something more important here. You see, outside of the willpower, there's monetary incentive. So it may be that many people on the right don't have the willpower and within 15 minutes would be cheering for, whoever's thrown the latest touchdown pass. The issue for Budweiser right now, they're not going to be able to overcome, is that online personalities are getting a major flood of viewership from talking about this. It's not going to go away so long as I can put out a video and get 500,000 views just by saying Budweiser. And that's an opportunity we've not seen before. So I don't care about the money. I care about the fact that people will watch it. And then I can say, don't forget, don't buy Budweiser. And it's not just that. We're not asking people to go out and register 100,000 voters. We're not asking everybody right now to be Scott Pressler. We do wish everybody would be Scott Pressler. But if we can't get that, the least we can get is, next time you go to the store, buy Guinness. I don't even know what, PBR Old Style or something.
Let me tell you why I disagree with that. You're not wrong, but I disagree with it. Yes, we can hurt them, and we should, and I hope we maintain this. But really, what drives so many of these corporations now is the major financial institutions, including the financial institutions of the United States government, all of which now are governed by all this ESG, LGBTQ, all this insane crap. So yeah, let's say Anheuser-Busch, let's say the right finally steps up and sticks with something. And please, Lord, let them stick with something for the first time ever. And let's say they stop buying it and these southern distributors really cancel these orders and people stop buying it and they stick with it and they don't forget about this, which they're gonna. But let's just say for the sake of argument, they do not. You know what Anheuser-Busch will still have? Access to endless capital from Wall Street and Washington, D.C., because they have paid homage to the religion of the nation. They've paid homage to America's religion. Anything. Oh, yes, it sure does. It means everything. Why do you think the NBA has taken the entire generation, and they've alienated an entire generation of American young people? There's no reason to do that.
They made a bet that conservatives, classical liberals, will do nothing about it. That you're right about. But this is where we're starting to see something actually bigger happen, where people, we've seen the Nike boycotts, right? And the funny thing is, when Colin Kaepernick took a knee or whatever, and the Nike sponsors him, all of these videos emerge of people burning their gear and their socks and all that. Within 3 years, every single athlete took a knee. And if you didn't, you were the odd person out. That was a defeat. Something different happens. After a week and over a holiday weekend, when people are supposed to forget about it, Anheuser-Busch thought they could keep their mouths shut and this would go away. And we're looking at now a week of their stock dropping. I'll take it, and I won't shut up about it, because if we can keep the pressure on and keep talking about it, eventually get to the point where it doesn't matter if they have endless capital. If the regional stores and the rural stores say, we're not going to carry your product, it's become popular, and it's hurting our brand to carry it because people are getting offended, are angry that we're not involved in this. You're going to see distributors kicking it back. You're going to see people like John Rich saying he won't carry the product anymore. But John Rich didn't say, you know what? I hereby stand on principle and will ban Anheuser-Busch. You know what he said? He said, honestly, over the past week, people stopped buying it and started to pile up. So we got to figure something out. If they're not going to buy it, I'm not going to order it because I'm losing money. John Rich came out after Kid Rock and after Travis Tritt and was just like, hey, look, nobody's buying it. And if that's what's really happening, and we're seeing videos of people in grocery stores showing the Bud Light is all still there and the Budweiser is all still there and other brands are gone. And now we saw Dan Crenshaw come out and post a video about it earlier this week. More and more people are getting on the meme and the trend of not drinking Bud Light. They're down, I think, 4 points. I mean, that's massive. Imagine if you invested in Anheuser-Busch and you look after the past week and you lost 4%. Imagine if you were a billionaire and what 4% could actually mean. At this point, I'm sure there are people calling up Bud Light and being like, look, I'm not going to scream and throw a fit over 4%. This is probably going to be temporary, but you got to tell me what you're doing about this. And the pressure is starting to build. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.